Hey Brad, thanks for stepping in the office and taking a few minutes to talk about some very exciting things that are happening with you in the next little time. The next few weeks is going to be really some unveiling of some really cool and amazing things that have been happening behind the scenes. So I want the church to kind of have an opportunity to catch up on what's going on today and what's happening in the future, okay? I'm really excited about so many things that have been happening. I know you've been anticipating that, and we kind of had set a March launch date for having the Institute Center up. Yep. But we've talked about it initially. You kind of cast a vision several months ago about what was happening. Let's do a refresher for the church on what this is and why maybe your book release could be a catalyst of helping us see the importance of why the Institute is needed. Now, let me start with a direct question. What is the Institute you've set up? And I know you have a complete formal name for it, but what is it you're doing here on campus? Why are we building these counseling spaces in one of our modules here on site?
What's technically called the Special Needs Family Institute, SNFI for short, or just the Institute as you accurately refer to it. And as you mentioned, with the launch of my book, I think God's timing is perfect in this. He has ordered our steps, I think, and when I say ours, I mean yours, mine, together, just what is happening here at Grace Church in the space of special needs ministry and really a larger scale of that. But the Institute will be a place where I can specifically, for one, offer really a professional setting to do high-level clinical care, therapy, pastoral counseling for families from the church.
You're a licensed counselor?
Correct. I was licensed in Alaska for 10, 12 years, whatever it was, and thank the Lord through reciprocity, transferred my license to Tennessee at the end of 2024. So that's the first immediate impact, positive impact to the community here at Grace Church. But on a larger scale, the Institute becomes a place where, in my dream and passion, work, frankly, that I'm doing in my doctoral program, and I'm now only 2 classes away from my dissertation.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And in what I call a special needs marriage. And there is a need. What I'm working on is in specific, looking at the specific stressors and challenges that special needs marriages face, and so that space that the Institute will be is to very pointedly be a place to work with those kinds of families. And I'm obviously going to need more funding to be able to do this. And as the SNFI takes on a formal nonprofit status, I am hoping and praying and invite the church to pray with me as well, because I'm going to pursue some, I think, larger grants. Because what I ultimately want is a place where special needs families can come, where I can provide care for them, and where their child can be cared for during that session. Because that's half of the battle for a lot of couples that I've talked to, is we would love to get help, but we don't know what to do with Jimmy or Susie.
Right.
And so that's part of my dream in having an institute that is sensitive not only to the couple, but to the family as a whole from a systemic viewpoint.
And as a pastor of a church that you're working on site with us here, can I just say thank you for setting that up? I'm glad the details have come together.
Yes.
And God has blessed in some really amazing ways that this center can get off the ground. The why. Let me go to your book, because I think if people will listen and read your book and the stories, and you've talked to me one-on-one about some of the stories and elements that are in there. Yeah. I am amazed at how detailed, how constant. I'm going to use this word drain. It's not politically correct, but the constant drain of continue to have all your energies in a very complex family dynamic because of special needs impact. I'm amazed that you and Lori keep your sanity. You have a smile on your face, sense of humor. But this book, I think, tell us if you can, kind of give us an indicator so that we can go out and pick up this book as a way of becoming more sensitive to our special needs families. Because I think a group of people who are aware of the very detailed, messy stories of how a marriage and a family is impacted by special needs within the home, I think we would be more sensitive, and as we're seeing, I think the church would react more specifically and positively in those situations. Kind of give us an indicator of how your book is going, what I think is going to start a catalyst into the need for the Special Needs Institute.
Well, for one, ultimately, I wanted my book to point people to Christ, generally across the board, but through that lens, because the secondary title of my book is A Journey of Faith, Struggle, and Hope, and it's particularly in that order. But I wanted it to be a real, authentic look into our lives. And if I can name drop, Judy Graves read my book and came up to me and said, you really put it all out there, and in essence made yourself naked, if you will, in that sense. And,
right. Yeah.
And so I kind of took
openness of honest conversation.
Yeah, and I took that analogy and I told my wife, and I've kind of used this to tell people, I said, writing a book like that with as much detail and frankly graphic in some sense of what we face, the reality of just our lives, and in my attempt to be transparent, I said, it's kind of like when you go to the doctor and they say, go behind the curtain, take off your clothes, and then you do that, and then somebody pulls the curtain open, and there's a bunch of people looking at you.
Yeah.
So there's been a few moments of discomfort realizing that's kind of what I've done, but again, that's all to the glory of God and for a much greater purpose that I'm just okay with, because I think too it opens some, as we were just talking earlier, some messy conversations, or some conversations about the messiness of that life, and really of ministering to families who walk that same road, and in some cases much more challenging than ours.
Mm-hmm. And can I just say thank you for having these open, honest conversations. I do think, Brad, the impact of openness and honesty in a world in which sometimes they do not always feel like the church will have these open, honest conversations. I think it allows the church to be a better church, or may I just say, the church to truly be the church that Jesus taught us as he walked into the messy places of our world, to have open, honest conversations about where the kingdom needs to be built.
Absolutely.
For sure. If you were taking, kind of close out our conversation, if you were to say, okay, there is one thing, and there's multiple things, I know, but there's one thing this week that I want to say is a positive impact on the future of special needs ministry, what would it be? And I know that could be the general church level, it could be the key ministry level from the conference of you, it could be a local level, but what's one thing that you think you're seeing the church look at special needs in a different way? What's one of those things you're celebrating?
I think the fact that we're, one, having these conversations, and two, getting comfortable with the messiness. Or how is it we say it sometimes, getting comfortable being uncomfortable, so to speak. That's maybe a better way to say it.
Yeah.
Because getting comfortable is not always a good thing as we grow, because when we're uncomfortable is when we're growing.
Right.
And so maybe to better say it, embracing discomfort.
Right.
Because it is messy. And it's exciting to be a part of a church that is, and if I can name drop again, I think of people like Kathy Montague, who is just watching God at work in her life, and
biggest smile on her face the whole time.
And seeing her embrace these kids and just other people like Mary Ann and the children's church, and just watching our partners in ministry in our respite program, but really seeing that really begin to infiltrate into what I call the special operators of ministry in our church, not just children's church. Because I think somewhere in our conversations is the other thing that Grace Church specifically is realizing is that special needs ministry is not just a kids ministry. It's a cradle to grave ministry and mentality that these people, and I say these people with disability, one, they need Jesus just like everybody else. When the Bible says all have sinned and come short of the glory of God, except for these people, it doesn't say that.
Right.
So how do we be conduits of the grace of Christ and of his saving knowledge into all people,
Right.
including those with disability, as well as minister and provide openness, welcomeness, and inclusivity to them throughout their lifespan?
Right.
So,
And can I just encourage you, Brad, on the days in which you feel like I feel like a lone voice in the middle of this, or working against culture. Technically, you are, and I think I see you doing what Jesus did when he met the Samaritan at the well. He intentionally didn't go around the place like everyone else would. He intentionally went into Samaria to have conversations, to bring people into a relationship with God. So thank you for doing that, brother. I appreciate you.
absolutely.
All right. Thanks for taking the time to hang out.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good day, buddy.
Thank you.
You got it. Bye.